Sanamukela futhi la Dlala Mzansi, and as promised we are chilling the champion, WBA Bantamweight champion Zolani Tete, Simkeeper at the gym to come and have a chat with us as he prepares to defend his title in Northern Ireland. Zolani, thank you very much for taking the time to be with us on the show today.
Sure, my brother. Show. I believe my time being here will mean everything.
Now, we got you out of the gym, we got you as you were training today. How was the preparations going for your fight, Tiago?
The preparations are going very well. We're preparing for the fight, and we've been preparing for almost 2 months now. Preparing for the fight. We're looking forward to the fight, 18th of November. I can't wait for the date.
Of course, the last time that you fought was back in April. Now,
yeah,
I mean, since that time, you going in the gym, how has it been for you?
I got motivated each and every day of the fight. Every day when I'm preparing for the fight. Since I became the world champion once again in April, I've always been motivated. So I've always been in the gym, because I know once I become a world champion, there's a list of fighters that who also wants to fight me to grab this title away from me. So I had to make sure that mentally and physically I'm prepared for each and every fight. So I'm ready for the fight. I'm going to win the fight.
Of course, Usboniso, like we were talking earlier, is not just like any other fighter now. The confidence should not hit you by surprise.
No, he should be confident because once you challenge for a world title and then you are not confident, then why are you wasting time? I mean, it's his right to be confident. He's rated number 3. I'm taking nothing away from him. He's one of the best fighters. But this is my title, and I'm looking beyond this defense. I need to unify the division, and I need to bring all the WBC fight titles, the WBA and IBF. So this is a stepping stone from Swoniso. I might go for Luis Neri, who's the WBC, or Ryan Bennett, who's the IBF. So my main aim at the moment is with Swoniso. Once I'm done with him, I'm moving to the next opponent.
Of course, for you, when you talk about the great fighters, Dlala Mzansi, people come out and mention your name as well. And you're also mentioning the fact that there's a list of boxers now who are waiting to try and take these titles away from you. What has been your secret when getting into the ring?
There's only one secret when you get inside the ring, is to be prepared for the fight. You must be mentally fit and physically, because in boxing it's a matter of one punch and everything is gone. So that's one thing that I make sure I do whenever I prepare for the fight. I'm ready for the fight, and I always have game plans, not one plan, but there must be plans for the fight. In order for you to win, you need to be prepared.
I mean, when you're talking about preparation as well, one person that sits in the side of you in the ring, who trainer Mhikiza Ngegeni, I think he was back with you for the super flyweights when you were fighting in Japan. So this is somebody that you're familiar with, and you're familiar in terms of what he wants to achieve with you.
The most important thing as a boxer and a trainer is to have the communication. You must understand each other, and you must communicate. Whether about the opponent you're fighting or about the approach of the fight, because I can't just go inside the ring and do my own thinking because he's there with me, and he's the one who's telling me you must do this, and he mustn't come with something that you didn't prepare in the gym. So you must just remind me. You remember we did this in the gym. Do this now because he's doing this. So there must be that connection with you and your training. Unfortunately, I've been working with the guys for almost 5 years now, and I've been training with them even then when they were boxers as well. So we understand each other, and they know how it feels to be inside the ring, and they know what to do when you get inside the ring. So they have that experience. So I've got what it takes to become a unified world champion with the team I have.
Of course, assisting him as well, Upumzile Makila as well. We know him as, once you mention his name, you cannot mention champion under his name as well. So now with the assistance here, on top of that, you get that first-hand lecture or mentorship from a previous champion as well, and that's the guidance that you would want if you want to be a champion yourself.
Upumzile was the WBC International Bantamweight champion, and he was the South African Bantamweight champion. So it is one of those things that we have this thing that is common, that we are ruling this division. He was a bantamweight, I'm a bantamweight division now, and I'm the world champion in this division. So we have that communication together with Showtime, and we always talk about these things. You know, even after the training sessions, we socialize. Not only about boxing, we talk about life. You know, I learn from them, they learn from me, we learn from everyone who's surrounding us. I mean, that's how life is. You know, that's how you should treat yourself during other people. You listen and you talk to people, you communicate, and that's the most important thing that we do as this team.
Of course, this is a muchly anticipated fight. Dlala Mzansi as boxing fans, Dlala Mzansi. But now the thing is, you're taking it out again. And you guys are going to Northern Ireland. I know for you it's also a personal thing because it's Ryan Bennett's hometown as well. But it would have been nice for us to all boxing fans here in the country to really see the fight firsthand.
You know, it was my wish, you know, to do this defense here in South Africa. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. You know, it was supposed to happen in September, but we didn't get the funds. But the fight is still happening, but now outside the country. It is set for the South African fans, because I believe this fight deserves to be here, because we are both South African fighters fighting for an incredible world title. So it would have been more fun and more hype here in South Africa than it's going to be in Northern Ireland. Coming to what you were saying about Ryan Bennett, I believe he'll be there and I will meet him. And after I've dealt with this body, so I'll throw the question to him that, you know, let's do this thing happen, because he's a unified champion and that's his hometown. So I don't mind going to his hometown again to take his titles, because that's exactly what I will do once I step inside the ring with him. I'll grab those titles and I'll go back and defend them there again if it happens.
You mentioned earlier on, as we have in the chat, Uguti, the bigger picture as well to this is for you preparing to fight to Louis Neri. That's something that's been in the thoughts of you guys. In terms of preparation for that with your team, how are you building up for that fight?
You know, we're studying it nicely, because Louis Neri is a southpaw, and we are fighting Sponies, who's also a southpaw. So that's our route. We're going that route because Louis Neri is a WBC champion, and our promoter Frank Warren communicated with his team, and he agreed to fight us. But unfortunately, he was caught with the drug testing, so they're still dealing with that now. But once it's done, I believe the fight will happen early next year or later 2018.
Last point, boxing promotions, I did speak to you about that earlier on as well. I mean, you guys are building up something, especially with, you know, the fights that might be coming in December as well. I believe your brother is also going to be fighting there as well.
You know, this is my future, you know.
It's a legacy for you.
It's a legacy for me, that's correct. You know, because I'm growing old and I still need to look after my family. I don't want boxing to retire me. I need to retire from boxing so that I can push my legacy. My brother is always with me. We started boxing together, and since then we've always been together. So I can't leave him behind in this success. If it comes to a push, I will always make sure that whenever the last promotion is staging a fight, he's there to fight, because that's always been our dream, you know, to fight and become world champions. He's a former IPO world champion as well, and he wants to be in those levels where you fight for the WBCs, WBA, IBF world titles. And I believe this is the future, because step by step we're going to take it to that level.
You putting boxing back on the map again. We've been missing it for a long time. SA Sports Star of the Year in the SA Sports Awards coming up as well. How are you feeling about that? And finally, what are you promising the fans, South African fans, coming up into this fight?
You know, about the Sports Awards, I mean, when I was told about the nominees, I was shocked, you know. And I thought maybe the lady was calling me about the wrong. In fact, Tabongs called me. And I said, no, Tabongs, don't play with me. You know, I'm busy focusing on the fight. So don't come with these kind of shots, because it's very rare to find a boxer to be nominated. He said, no, I'm not joking. I'm being serious about this. We are nominated and we are in the top 5. So the minute he told me that, I stood up and I said, hey, Tabongs, I think I need to go and run because this thing is a motivation to me, because it's the first time a boxer has been nominated in the sport awards. And for myself, it's an achievement, and I believe for the team as well. And when I told my family, everyone was shocked, and they were all screaming, "How are we gonna watch you on TV?" I said, "No, I'm leaving on the 11th, so the awards are on the 12th, so I won't be there. But I will ask maybe my dad or my brother to go on my behalf."
And finally as well, I mean, for the fans, I mean, going into this match, what are you promising South African boxing fans?
Yeah, the only thing that I can promise them is that the fight won't last. Siboniso Konye is a good fighter, but I believe 4 or 5 rounds is more than enough.
So we're looking at 5 rounds here.
5 rounds, that's my word.
Zolani, thank you very much for taking the time to be with us on the show.
Thanks,
and all the best with the SA Sports Awards as well. And just continue to fly the South African flag as well.
Thanks, my brother. Thank you very much. And I also want to thank the supporters who are watching. I believe I'm going to do my best.
Thank you. Nazwela here from the champion himself, WBO Bantamweight champion Zolani Tete, chats to us on the show as he's preparing to defend his title there in the Northern Ireland. Nyazi, after the break, the sports Nomalo comes back profiling another champion outside. This time around, asazi ukuthi kuzobani. Uzozibonela kodwa.